we haven't buy it yet, but I had one. So we're utilizing that until further notice. And we were able to sat down, read some books and stuff like that. And then they went to bed. I just went and checked on them. The big one had the computer, the tablet up on top of the bunk bed. So I make sure I go in and double check. But when I went in there, they all knocked out. So, yes. So when you allow yourself time, so we're going into nothing now, family, because I know many people probably wonder what. That's why you put hashtag what. When you allow yourself time to do nothing, you give your brain a chance to process experiences. And let me just read that one more time. When you allow yourself time to do nothing, you give your brain a chance to process experiences. Consolidate memories and reinforce learning. It's like a moment of silence, we're doing nothing. Your resting state is a powerful tool for regulating your emotions and maintaining the ability to focus. Rest will also help you make better decisions and be more productive. Many times growing up as a young girl, I used to hear that if you don't do nothing, then you are worthless or you are this. But as I grow up older and start to realize that sometimes we just need to not do nothing. You ever have a down day where that day in your house you just do nothing? You have a down day where you go to work too, and you still do work, but it's like an easy mood day. Like how they say YouTube is on easy mood. It's not really easy mood. It's that people are out here and everybody who paved the way are showing the way now. They're clearing the pathway. For example, like people who travel and live overseas. The first person to travel outside of the family have it the hardest, especially if they migrate and then they live elsewhere, anywhere. It could be you migrate from the US to somewhere else or whatever. So the first person to branch off always have it the hardest, because you know why? They have no family, no friends, no loved one. Now they're in a new environment and they have to find a way to meet people, talk to people. Never easy, depending on if they were introvert or extrovert. Good night, Cynthia. How are you? Greetings. So it depends. But just with the experiences that you're gonna gain is gonna pave the way forward for everybody else. So when we look at YouTube and we will say, "Oh, we don't have to do nothing," that's not true. We got to do something, but are we gonna work as hard as everybody else that paved the way? No, because at that time the secret to YouTube was not as easy as it is now. I'm just tying it into what we are doing as content creators to make it more understandable, and not just for you guys but also for me, where I'm coming from. So when we say we're not doing nothing, we're doing something. We're processing our thoughts. We're thinking about everything that we did for the day when we're not doing anything. It's like you sit down and you start to meditate. You start to reflect on your day and the experience. It's like somebody always say, "What have you learned today? What was one thing you learned today?" Anybody learn anything today? You can comment it in the comment section if you want. If not, that's fine. I understand, because as we suggest nothing. You know what I mean? We say nothing. So it's fine. Nothing is fine. And it's okay to not do nothing. But nothing doesn't mean that you're not doing nothing. Even though you hear the word nothing, nothing doesn't mean you're not doing nothing. It's like at home. What did you do today? Nothing. But we eat, so we did something. We go to the bathroom, we did something. We take a shower, we did something. We sleep, we did something. It might not be as effective as how we want the day to go. But through that nothing, we get rest. We get time to process our thoughts. We get time to reflect on where we are in life. We get time to, maybe if we're old enough to draft up a you say, I learned to mind my business today. You say you learn to mind your business. Yo man, that's a good one right there. You know what I mean? But it's still learning to do nothing, but you also learn to do something, you know. So through all the things that we're going to look at as nothing, we're learning something. We're not only learning something, we're gaining knowledge and we're gaining understanding, and also to maintain our emotions, good emotions. Ron J say, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Fave song. I think I know that song. Thank you for that. Appreciate your blessings, blessings. So there, I mean, from nothing. Yeah, somebody who say from nothing to something. That means nothing from through that nothing. Something was in that nothing. But because sometimes, a word, or sometimes somebody will say something, and if that word mostly affiliated with something negative, then when you try to use that word, it can also seem negative. But it's how we're gonna look at the word is gonna start to perceive the word differently. Sometimes we have to learn to look at nothing to try to find something. It's like watching all these movies and you see they're trying to fight crime or everything. Sometimes they don't see nothing, but they said, I think something is there. Why would this person want to do this? Why would this person want to do that? And they know something is there, but they cannot find nothing at the moment. But they're deep down inside, their emotions are telling them that something is there. Even with us as human beings, you hear someone say, why do I take a chance? You say, find something. Yes, you will find something, depending on what we're trying to find. You know what I mean? It's like someone would say, why would you take a chance on someone that have nothing? And I know many of us was there when we were growing up, and whatever we were doing, and want somebody to recognize us or appreciate us for just a little thing. Don't have to be a big thing. And then somebody else just say, why should somebody appreciate this person and they did nothing? The mere fact that they don't do nothing could mean they did something. Because if they didn't do nothing, why would such statement made? You might not be aware that you said nothing because you didn't say nothing. Sometimes you don't even have to say nothing to get yourself in nothing. And sometimes you're misjudged for nothing, no obvious reason. How many of us have ever been in our own sanctuary, private homes, or whatever, rental or whatever it is, and you have let's use glasses for everybody who wear test glasses. It's on your face, but to God, you said somebody took it up, or you left it in a car or anything, but it's on your face. You make a fuss out of nothing because it's right on your face. All you needed to do is just go in the mirror and take a look. Do you know how you feel when you make a whole fuss or a whole drama out of something that was nothing? Now you seem like you're losing your mind. Wow. You might call a friend if you're one of those person who have those kind of energy, those jovial spirit, and say, "Hey, Cynthia, I think I'm losing my mind. Guess what? I make a whole fuss out of nothing." And then as a result, you gain experience from that. And it don't have to be just glasses. It could be you misplace your wallet, you misplace your purse. And, especially if you have people over your house and they left. That's the time your head. That's the time you're delusional. It's a Billy Preston song. Oh man, drop two lines in the chat for me, Ron. You know what I mean? That's the time you realize that, wow. And now everything is missing all of a sudden. Before, nothing was missing because you were home alone. You might misplace this stuff and don't know where you put it. But as soon as somebody comes to your house, that delusional mind frame chip right in. And now we start to lose it. Not to say it's not true for some things sometimes, but most of the time the things are hidden, especially if you're a good hider. How many of us like to hide things? I'm guilty of it. Anybody like to hide things? Let me know. Hide the things, and then when you can't find it, especially when you need it, you will never find the stuff when you need it, and you make a fuss out of nothing. I live with the kids, so they probably get the wrath of me making fuss out of nothing. Remember yesterday, I think I was mentioning it that I need to find this LED light I have and I can't find it. Yes, Cynthia, yes. And I can't find it. Guys, I searched my whole room up. But because I learned my lessons before, that if you don't have a use something for a long time, anything after 2 weeks, that's long enough for you if you don't use it. Anything within 2 weeks. So before going off out of nothing, it will be right in your face. Yes. And that's the time you look crazy, like you're losing your mind. Worse if you easily get frustrated as soon as you realize you can't find it, and then you route to nothing, make a fuss out of nothing while this thing was right in your face. You say, man, you might not say it to anyone, but you will say to yourself, I just make a fuss out of nothing. I just make a Z out of nothing. And sometimes, depending on the setting in which you're at, can also make you lose friends, families, relatives, just about anybody, because now they think you're cuckoo, crazy, and they don't want to be entangled in that. But it is natural for us to get upset sometimes for no obvious reason. And just think about sometimes you things it's just like your hair need to be washed. And if you have thin hair and you put a lot of products in your hair is gonna get thicker. You know why? Because it's dirty. And when it get thicker, it becomes harder to comb. But if there's nothing inside of it, then you won't have that issue. You will be brushing nice, peaceful, and go. You go to the laundromat. You forgot that you have clothes in the dryer because you had too many. Then by the time you go back, nothing is there. You know why? Because you didn't have nothing in there. Your mind Our mind is a powerful thing. And that's how we gain a lot of experience sometimes. You ever hear someone when we start to get frustrated, calm down because I that happened to me recently. So I know what you're talking about, and I was fussing over nothing, and it was right in front of me. Because those people have experience. They had been in situation like that before. It may not be the same thing you have been in, but they've been in that run. Say hi from Cape in Brenton. Okay. Greetings. Hi, 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 hi. Hello, hello. Hi, hi, hi used to be a song in Jamaica, you know? So just the thought of nothing make you wonder, what? But just look at your everyday life, how nothing, you can make nothing out of something sometimes. You could be walking out the store, order your goods, and you have the bag in your hand because it's a tiny little bag. And you run back to the cashier and say, where's my bag? Where's my bag? And when you find it out, you're so embarrassed you can't even say thank you because you literally felt embarrassed. Not to say you're embarrassed to the point where you can't apologize, but the mere fact that people will think that you're cuckoo. But just looking at these things is like, you know what? It's a reminder that sometimes we need to take a break because our brain is filled. It's like we're pouring water into a cup and the cup is full. What is going to happen? It's going to be wasted now. The rest that is there because what? You don't realize that it is full. And then we get mad for no obvious reason. How many times you see a bucket, a container, let's use a container for example. You put it there, maybe yesterday, the day before, even your own handbags or whatever you use. And you try to take that thing up. Now remember now it's empty, but you try to take it up. The way you take it up make it felt like it was heavy. Because of the force you go with to grab that container up, grab that empty jar up, grab that bottle up. Now it's no longer nothing in there. Now it become heavy. Then you gotta say to yourself, what is in this? Why is it so heavy? Nothing is in there. It's just the mindset. Our mind, our thoughts, sometimes we have to regenerate so that we can get from nothing to something. But those nothing that we make fuss out of is what we also going to use to help our brothers and sisters out there because we've been in those situations before. It's just like anything could be happening. Like me, when I was younger, you're working in the field. We used to do farming, working in the field. You get a cut. We always have salt on the ground because sometimes you may make wood fire and roast a corn, roast cocoa. Anybody do cocoa, dasheen and stuff like that. So we always have little salt at hand. And you get a little minor cut. We're able to put the salt in there to heat to stop the blood from bleeding. That was a method. I don't know if you try that now if that would work. But I know then that's how we used to do it. You get the cut, and we just pour the salt in there. The regular salt, pour it in there, and just hold it for a little while, some depending. Because if you don't have enough platelet, you will bleed more. Your platelet is good, you bleed less. Okay, platelets come in to help seal things together. But it just a thought. I was sitting there and I'm like, why is this word keep coming to my mind? Because that's not what I had originally had in mind to talk about. But I'm like, nothing. Hmm. So let's dive a little deeper. But through it all, that's how we learn, guys, and that's how we're able to share things because it's you've been through things and it happened to you and you can relate, you know what I mean? So that's why we need rest. So your resting state is powerful tool for regulating your emotions and maintaining the ability to focus. So when things like those happen to you, now you learn that if you ever should say things like that again, you can't find stuff. Now you start to put things not just in using your mouth to say, "Oh, somebody stole something." No, because it happened before and it was right there. You probably just misplaced it. So now we start to say, where could I put this? Now we start to think. Now we start to use our ability to think. Because all yesterday, all day I've been looking for it. I couldn't find. I pulled everything up and I couldn't find it, and it was still rest on my mind. I got up and I'm like, this is weird. And when I go look today, that thing was. I walked past it yesterday. I walked back. It was right in the front of my eyes. Who couldn't see it? You know, we used to joke around. You just said this dumb dumb couldn't see it. I was blind to it. But such is life. Because sometimes it's like to me, I think it's like this is just opinion. I think it's just like a testing of faith to see how we would handle a situation even when nothing is there. Nothing is there to argue about. It's like a challenge. So sometimes I'm wondering if that's the way the Lord test us to see what we would do when nobody comes in your house sometimes and nobody touch anything for you, but just to see how we would approach things. Would we flare up? Would we have the mind to think? Would we focus or say, you know what, let's call this off till tomorrow till we can see what is it? Let's think about it. Let's go to bed with it and think about it and see if we can have a dream about it. Because sometimes we do get up in the middle of the night and say, well, I can't say for you guys, but if you do, you can comment. I say, oh, it was over there. Because now you start to remember everywhere you had been with that thing. And that's how a lot of things are being solved now, from nothing to something. Trace your footsteps. Trace the last place you have been to use that stuff, whatever that is. Sometimes even your own glasses on your face. You forgot that somebody had asked you to read something and you had took it out your pocket and put it on your face. Now you can't find it. You know, but such is life. But I don't know why they come to the talk. But anyway, you know, as I said before, I said I want God to fill my mouth with praise because when our mouth be filled with praise, He will direct us in the right direction. He will lead us in the right direction. Everything is not an overnight process. And this thing where I'm reading here, the benefit of doing nothing is coming from INSEAD, INSEAD, INSEAD. This one said, lyrics by Nydia, blessings, blessings, yes, yes. But if anybody have any things you want to suggest in the chat that you have misplaced or anything and you make a fuss out of nothing, you could share it in the comment so we can see what that was like. If you wish, if you're not, then that's fine. Because as we were suggest nothing. Sometimes you don't got nothing. If you don't got nothing, just drop nothing if you don't got nothing because it's still something. Because now nothing, you start to look at nothing in a different light. Because sometimes when somebody say, what you doing? They say nothing. But to be told, you're doing something because you're just talking to me. You know what I mean? I have a friend, she always love to say, she say, what you doing? Nothing. So it's always hilarious, you know. Ron say, an organized process. Sure, you organize it. Yes, yes, you have to be organized, you know what I mean? So I'm telling you. So now we know that nothing can be, you look at nothing as a positive thing to reset. everything we're doing in life depending on how we're looking at it. Are we looking at something in a bad light, or are we looking at it in a good light? It depends on what we're looking at. Because I can tell you, as a human being, sometimes you're not looking at the things that you need to be looking at. Like today, in one of my videos, somebody comment on one of my videos. And the word bad, sometimes when we hear the word bad, we think it meant bad because it suggests bad. But if you're dancing or something, you have to be interpreting that one word in so many different ways. It's like put it into different parts of your brain to tell you which is which. And if you can't come up with which is which, sometimes it just to say, okay, cool, because you don't want to go say anything and then the person mind frame or his perspective was not leading towards that part of your brain that you are thinking now based on your interpretation. There's so many things that goes on with just one word that can be out of context, in of context, and left you clueless and nothing, left you with nothing, because it could be vague. So now you have nothing to work with, but left with a whole lot of east, west, north, and south. You're going all angles to figure out to see if should I remove this comment? Should I leave it? Should I reply? Should I just take a deep breath and just let it be? Because it might not be nothing. But the good part of that was the person said, I don't need to be rude. So when someone said, I don't need to be rude, I'll leave that comment up. Even if that person interpretation of what they put out there to make a reference or comment on something is, because to be honest, our perspective is different. I'm looking at nothing, and I can tell I can tell you, but I can only assume that many of you now start look at the word nothing from different angles now, as to opposed to just look at it in a negative way. Because a lot of words that are, we like to put negative connotation to them, so that they become so cliche in the negative light that sometimes you can be afraid to use them in the positive light, because people might rub you the wrong way with those words, even though those weren't your intention. And that's why when we have dialogues or conversations and stuff like that, we learn because of the different perspectives that are out there. Different background gonna have different way of using that same word, so it, it's just food for thought, you know how we look at stuff. There's about research shows that eliminating distraction, taking time to do nothing, and even daydreaming, just letting your mind wander, improve mental health, productivity, and creativity. And this one is coming from the Henry Ford website, www.henryford.com. 6 healthy benefits of taking time to do nothing.